show, Victor Echo 1 Bravo Whiskey Victor, B1BWV. I'm going to have a little look around the shack this morning before we get ready for the meeting later on this week. Anyway, this is just the FPV area. I happen to fly drones, little micro drones, and all these cases and all these type of things are done by the 3D printer, which is really handy if you're an amateur radio person as well, because all your projects and all that sort of stuff you can make up and modify and whatever you want to do. Anyway, let's get down to the ham shack here. It's a bunch of network stuff on the right, mostly an area where I do the programming or testing the software from a different area, just to see how well it works. And the distance there is the actual operating area. Anyway, on the far right here, what we're looking at this morning is the Radioberry. Now, the Radioberry is a software-defined radio. It's very small, it's portable, and it uses a Raspberry Pi 4 or 5. So this is just one inside there, if you can basically see it. The very bottom is the, closer, is the Pi itself, and the middle is the Radioberry, or Radioberry itself. It's the module, actually, that is the transceiver. And then the top is just a little small preamp and amplifier, which puts about 3 to 5 watts. This is a bandpass filter. I put it external at the moment, so it's manual, but you can use an internal one. That's why I made the larger case here. And if you notice, well, you can't tell, but on the sides here, it's got multiple fans on there and on the top, because when I run it on FT8, I want to make sure it's extra cooled. Now, this is just a pull down right now, Velcro. So instead of that cover, this unit here, which I made, which basically can use your VFO and that sort of stuff, it just pops out and can snap right in there. So it's whatever your imagination is. Again, this is just 3D printed stuff. So that's the Pi 5, and this is what it looks like locally, just a regular software running the head end. So remember that basically this is kind of the head end of the SDR. I don't have an antenna on this at the moment, but it's a full-blown radio with all the menus for everything you can imagine, for touching your screen, your Voxes, or your displays, your AGC, everything you'd normally find. And this is a networked unit. And what I mean by that is basically that it plugs, there's a, on the back of this unit, of the Pi 4 or 5, it plugs into the local area network, the LAN here that's in the house. And so the information is being, kind of passed along the lines and just kind of waiting for a head to connect to it. Now, right now, I'm actually local. So I'm actually plugged into the back of that unit on the HDMI connector. Nothing unusual. However, if I was to go over to another machine, another PC or laptop, I could actually connect to it from any location in the house here. So anyway, that's the Pi 5. I've worked on it, made several different size cases, and I finally decided that was the size. Anyway, I'll be bringing that in this evening, and you guys can have a look at it firsthand. So, having done that, I started working on another little project, which is the Radioberry, but this is only about 3 inches high and about 6 inches deep. And inside it, you won't be able to see it too much, obviously, but there's the same thing, a little fan. That's the preamp, and the same layers you saw on the other one is inside this one, but it's a much smaller case. They're pretty portable, and I'll bring that one in tonight too as well, so that way you'll have a look at it, just to see what you can do. And of course, the case could be whatever you want it to be, or no case, if that's what you really like. So that's the Pi 4 version, but it could be a 5, but I just happen to have one of each, so I thought I'd build them up. Now, the next SDR unit that I'm looking at this evening a little bit is the Hermes Lite. Now, the Hermes Lite is basically the same as the Radioberry, except it has everything it needs inside the case itself. In other words, it has its own processor, it has its own little transceiver area, and it actually has a automatic bandpass in there as well. So it's kind of a combined kit. And the kit basically is the board, and if you buy the case, then of course you get the case, but as far as assembly goes, it's a matter of just putting a heat sink on and you're good to go. So this one is done actually very well. Here I've made the brackets to hold the unit on with 3D printer. I put a little extension here because there's a little tiny squirrel cage motor there for fan, and then this base here has a 120 mil fan right below it, so it's blowing the air up, and that can run and run and run and just stay cool all the time. It's just one of those things when you're running digital modes. I always like to have everything extra cool. So that's the Hermes Lite. Next on the line here, basically, well, this thing does several things, but at the moment it's running PSK Reporter. Nothing unusual there. Let me just get the mouse here and go over to, I also use HF map, it's called, or HF view, and basically it kind of looks all around the place and tells you what the best propagation is, or what the propagation likely is for a given frequency around the country. And right now it's pretty low. It's like we had a flare or something. So I'll go back to PSK Reporter. Just bring it up here. And takes a second to come up. There we go. And she'll populate. So, and you can see by looking at this in the last, well, I guess 5 or 10 minutes, these are the areas that were reporting what they've heard from me. Excuse me. And this is the little mini PC that's running the main, I'll just scan back here, but the main area. And so that's the little micro PC that's running it all. On the right hand here, we have different meters. Basically, I have one all-band SDR receiver here that I keep usually on the digital mode, so I can monitor them just by looking at it. And the next one down is just an antenna tuner. And the other one is a SWR meter. And then there's a QDX transceiver. It's a little digital receiver, which is not on at the moment. And next along is another one monitoring the other, say, 20 meter band, if that's what I want. Get right here. And the same thing, this particular SWR meter is monitoring the output of the little amplifier I have. And then down below is just telling me what radio I'm on. And so basically, there's a little amplifier I use. It's an MLA150. Works really well. So when I need that extra power for the stations, I'm good to go.
Many call signs.
Okay, so what you're hearing in the background is that it's reporting that there's some call signs that I've been looking for, or whatever. So we'll just disregard that noise. And I see someone connected here. That's KW4IG. I'll just log them in. There we go. And I'll close this one off. There we go. So it's the bands aren't very good, obviously, right now. It's we've had a flare or whatever the case, so they're pretty quiet. But in any event, let me scan back just here a little bit, and you'll see this is the main digital operating station for me. I have the 1 monitor, 2, and 3, and then a small monitor down below, which is a touchscreen monitor, if that's what I want it to be. So basically, all these that you see are just 3 separate programs running from a PC. Nothing unusual, but since I have the monitors, I can spread them among 3 monitors. But if I didn't, I could just put it on one. It would work just as well. But when you're sitting here, it's nice to be able to see the whole thing. So over there I showed you the Hermes Lite. Now this unit here, this is the head, if you want to look at it, of the transceiver. That's connected to the Hermes Lite. No physical connection, just a network connection. And that's what makes it so versatile. The Hermes Lite and the Radioberry both have that server built in, which basically kind of sits there and waits and broadcasts, basically looking for a piece of software like this to connect to it. And the moment it does, well, then it becomes live. So nothing unusual. It's a transceiver, except that this transceiver can be made to look exactly like you want. times 120. There's about 100 skins here. So I'm going to move down here a little bit. And I'm getting a bit of glare here. So basically, you know, nothing unusual here. If I turn the sound on, you'd hear the audio from the FT8. And, you know, just regular things you'd find on your regular transceiver. The nice thing about software-defined things is that I don't have to have a $200 whatever SWR meter. I can just tell it to produce one and choose it, and there it is. Same with all these meters here. These are all software-defined, and they've already been pre-done. So, you know, it's not like I have to do anything except, yes, I want one there, or maybe I want it there, or maybe I want it over here. It's really up to myself where you want to put things. So that's the flexibility with software-defined stuff. It's unlimited. And if there's something that has to be changed because something's not working right, well, because it's open source, all the ham guys work on it that are knowledgeable in that area and make the correction. You don't have to wait for Yaesu or Kenwood or whatever to make a correction on the unit. So that's the head. As I mentioned, there's your setup areas. I can go through, for example, you know, there's the radio itself, which doesn't mean anything to you really, but it just shows you that they're pretty straightforward and they're informative setups, but actually quite easy to set up now. So basically, in here, I can go and say under appearance, and I'll just refresh this, and you can see the meters there, but you see how that radio looks right there? Well, if I want my radio to look like that right now, I just click on that button and apply it, and now if you look in the back here, the radio now looks like that. But it could look like a Kenwood. It could look like a Collins or a Heathkit, whatever you wish really. So I'll just leave that there for the moment. It's not my preference, but I can change them around here. And adding a meter is just a matter of going on a list and saying I want a meter, what type, you click it, and then it appears, and then you move it to wherever you wish. So that's the head of the software-defined radio, and that works with many different products. The Anon, it works with different flex radios, and it works with the, Radioberry and the Hermes Lite. So now we look over here and say, what am I doing this morning, or what's this? Well, the digital area here basically is that's the transceiver head that you just saw, and this is just, in this case, it's JTDX. You could be using WSJTX, Decodium, WSJTZ, as well as another one. But basically, it's taking the information that you saw from the transceiver and putting it and decoding it and putting it so that we can see what it is, so we can understand it, basically. And now, the middle area here that I have, called Grid Tracker, gives you a great GUI interface for the human being, I guess, It has really nice maps. It's graphical. It's telling me who's live. These little ant trails are actual live communications that are happening right now. If I hover over with the mouse, they will tell me information about them, whether I've worked them or not. And you can see right now that these are going pretty high. So if I pull this over, I would say they're going over towards Japan. I'd be looking at this, follow that across for a moment. Oh no, they're in looks like Mongolia right now. They're in Russia. So, and these are live connections, so it gives you an idea of how propagation's happening in the last little bit. In my case, it's in the last hour. That's what I selected. So I'm going to shrink this down a bit.
Many call signs.
All those other red dots are just dots that I've talked to. And like Grid Tracker, if you want, it's on DXCC right now. So it just shows the countries in green that I've talked to on this particular band. And on the right is all the settings, nothing unusual there. And you can set it like it's doing right now to tell you what is happening on the band as far as it goes for if I'm looking for something particular. Now the interesting part is right here, this actually is also Grid Tracker, but I just dragged it across to another monitor because it gives more room. And you can see now that compared to the digital output sort of like here from the WSJTD or JTDX, it's much more informative and clear like this. So you can see all the different stations. You can see what country, their flags, their state, um, basically their continent and how strong their signal is. Anybody calling CQ. Now, to operate it, it's really a matter of me. If I want to, I can just move my mouse and say I'll go to,
Many call signs.
let's see who's down here. It doesn't really matter. I'll just go to this fella. Oh, he's going Asia, so I won't go him. I'll pick, these signals are pretty low. It doesn't really matter. I'll just go this fella right there.
Wanted call sign.
And the moment it did that, Grid Tracker zoomed in, and as I'm transmitting right now, you see my ant trail is going down to that particular station. And I can again move the mouse and it'll tell me more information on it. This pops up on the screen, gives me all the information on them, whether I've worked them or not, and I can look up even more information. And then you can see that the moment I clicked this became red on here. It enabled the JTDX, but I see now he's busy. His system is so it's now turned off my transmit and gone into standby because he's talking to someone else, whatever. Down here below, I mentioned that there's another monitor. This is a touchscreen monitor, and all these things that you see here are just like I mentioned a while ago on the transceiver, where you can take these features, like say the band or the filters or the meters, and just drag them or make extras. So all I did is I dragged them new ones and put them down to here, and these are live. So that's the actual signal strength meter. It's a magic eye. And if you touch the individuals here or whatever, you would now have physical control of the unit. So there's different ways of controlling. People think that you can only do it from a mouse and a controller. Okay, what I didn't mention is, I'll zoom back here a little bit, is that you can use something like this. This is a little MIDI box. I bought that at Hamfest down in New Hampshire about, I don't know, probably 15 years ago. And but it's as simple as plugging this in, and the program over on the left, the transceiver head, there's an area in there that says MIDI. And you go to MIDI, and all of a sudden, all these buttons and all the buttons of the radio appear in a list. And all you do is you just click on the ones you want to map and what you want to map into. So you can have nice big huge dials for your VFO or whatever. So I think the biggest thing about software-defined radio is the flexibility. I can run these whole systems like the Hermes Lite or the Radioberry from anywheres on my phone, my laptop. It's open source type stuff, so it gets modified as fast as the ham guys want to modify it, and that's usually very, very quickly. But the thing is, if you don't like what the radio looks like, change it. If you want to make it look like it's snowing on your screen, it'll turn to that type of look. You can add all the meters you like, and you can shade them out so that they don't become active until you transmit. It's unlimited what software-defined radio can do. And of course, being software-defined is that all the filters, there's nothing mechanical that has to be employed in any of these transceivers. These are all doing it by firmware on microchips, doing what crystals used to do years ago. But it keeps going to a higher and higher level. These are very wideband. I can look, when I look at 20 meters, I can look at all 20 meters at the same time. I can do 2 receivers, 3 receivers, 4 receivers on different bands. It's really up to what you want to do. I think that's what I'm trying to put across, just for those who haven't really dabbled into software-defined radio. And you don't have to have, put it this way, you don't have to have what I've shown you. You can build it to a certain level and you just want it to be a receiver. They're fabulous. You can use dongles, and they're quite cheap. The software that I showed you will work with the dongle. They're just the little USB sticks that you plug in. But as you go higher and higher levels, you get more and more flexibilities like anything else. As far as cost goes, it all depends like anything else. The more you go up in level, the higher it goes. On the Radioberry, you have a Pi, and the Pis last year were about $100, $80 to $100. But due to a worldwide shortage right now, the RAM is like 200% higher. So they've made a little Pi quite expensive at the moment, but hopefully that will go down.
London call sign.
This unit, the Hermes Lite, is $269 American, and it's a QRP rig, but it's got a server built in. It's got it has every feature you can imagine and then some. So there it is. I've rambled on enough, I guess, but the whole point is just to give you an idea of what you can do if you want to do something, and if you dabble in the software-defined stuff, you won't get bored, that's for sure, because you can do digital modes, you can make it look what you like, and if you don't like sitting down here, just go upstairs in your living room, wherever you're watching TV, sit there and put the earbuds on, I guess, but the whole point is just to give you an idea of what you can do if you want to do something, and if you dabble in the software-defined stuff, you won't get bored, that's for sure, because you can do digital modes, you can make it look what you like, and if you don't like sitting down here, just go upstairs in your living room, wherever you're watching TV, sit there and put the earbuds on, and you can work the world just as if you're sitting right here, because they're all networked, and that's the other great flexibility that I enjoy. So with that, 7 threes, guys, have a great day. Well, hopefully we'll see you on Monday, this coming Monday, from B1BWV.